Can I say something? Can I say something, Board President? Thank you, Madam President. Just something that's been missing in discussion, and I wish the general public was aware of this, and because I think it's providing confusion, and there's a gap in messaging. But if our legal counsel can really share out the part of it in local parentis law, because that's what's happening with a lot of folks that are, parents that are perhaps not as savvy with the system, and they're not able to provide that due process for a 14-year-old or 15-year-old that's been detained. And I think our messaging to the parent needs to be very clear in terms of that local parentis law, because the administrator takes the place of the parent, but perhaps, there's parents are not aware of that, and I would just presume that this happens a lot in areas where there's high poverty. If legal can share that out.
Trustee Lira, I'm not for sure what you're referring to. In loco parentis is a term that's sometimes used, but there's no law that's called in loco parentis.
There is a legal policy, yes.
There is a policy? I mean, it's a term that says that in some instances other individuals stand in parental relation, and it's used.
For example, if a parent if you're unable to contact the parent and the student is detained on campus, and the parent there's not a good working number, or they're a single parent and they're working late at night and they're not able to reach them, the school administrator takes the role of the parent. It's the law that's called in loco parentis. And a lot of parents need to be aware of that law, because what that does is does not provide due process to the student, as if I were the parent of my son being detained in school. That's very different. Like, for example, if a parent that's has a high level of proficiency in terms of knowing what the school policy are, they're able to defend and say, wait a minute, don't say anything, wait till I get there, do not speak to anyone. And therefore they're able to defend and protect the student. But in cases where the parent is not available, the administrator takes that role. And that's something that perhaps we need to work on messaging. But we'll research that. It is a policy.
Then it's not a law by definition.
Are you aware of that, Madam Superintendent?
I understand what in local parentis means, but not as it relates to being a policy.
It is. And just to clarify
parent, but not as a policy.
That term can be used in a lot of different places. It just means standing in parental relation. So there are frequent times all over our policies where we say in this particular instance, we stand in parental relation, or CPS stands in parental relation when there's been an allegation of abuse. But there's no one law or one policy that's called in loco parentis. It's a Latin term that's sometimes used within a policy or within a law. So I'm not for sure which policy or which instance you're talking about, Trustee Lira, but perhaps we can talk a little bit more offline and get some clarification.
Okay. We'll research that.